Well, hello and a very warm welcome to Business Today TV. I am Chetan Bhutani. Today, I am joined by the Senior Executive Officer of Maruti Suzuki, Mr. Shashank Srivastava, on the monthly sales numbers. Thank you, Shashank, for joining us. Give us
Thank
a
you.
view of the numbers, sir. Good growth as usual, but yes, the entry-level vehicles, the Alto and S-presso, continue to remain a problematic point for company. Give us the wholesome figures, sir.
Yeah, so just to give you a perspective, the industry first. The industry wholesale number about 335,000 compares very well with last year's 295,000. So that's a growth of almost 13.5% over last year. Maruti Suzuki numbers were actually better than the industry. We could grow faster than the industry. We had almost 144,000 against 124,000 last year. That's a growth of almost 16%. And as a result, we gained market share, 1% market share in May, now crossing just that 43% mark. Retail is also pretty good. In fact, for the industry, the retail and the wholesale both were the highest ever May. And that gives us great confidence, because if you look at the other demand parameters, I'm talking now of Maruti Suzuki, the bookings went up 9% and inquiries went up 17%. So that stability of demand, a strong demand that we have seen in the past few months, continued in May, and hopefully it will continue going forward.
Right. Sir, but of course, the elephant in the room is, of course, the Alto and the S-presso and the entry-level vehicles.
Yes.
What do you say on that, sir?
Yes. So I think for the month of May, we'll have to look at those figures a little differently for Maruti Suzuki, because last year we had the Alto 800, which did about 12,500 or 12,600 numbers last year. And Alto 800 is not there this year. So these numbers have been tried to be made up by increasing the Alto K10 numbers, which we have reached 9,000, 9,500 numbers in May. So it's still behind those large numbers which Alto 800 used to give us. And that is the prime reason why you see that drop there. But yes, overall, this segment, the entry level hatch segment, over the past has been coming down. Its peak in 18-19, it was about 15,60,000, came down to 11,60,000, but then again went up last year by 20% to 13,40,000. And hopefully that trend should continue, especially when this segment, the income levels in this segment go up.
Sir, one thing is very clear that the SUVs are driving the industry right now, and the entry-level vehicles are really not performing that to that optimum level. So is Maruti Suzuki considering to cut down production of entry-level cars and focus on the next level cars?
No, so we have, as you know, 3 different plants. Each plant having different lines, and these vehicles are produced depending on the demand and supply. So it's not as if you have to cut down something to increase something, or increase something, therefore you necessarily cut down something. It's not like that. We will follow the pattern of demand and try to match the supply. Unfortunately, at this point of time, some of the models we are not able to supply what the demand is there in the market. So, but you are right. Overall, the demand shift seems to be in favor of the SUVs. SUV in May were, by the way, 47% of the market. So last year they were 42% of the market. The entry level came down to about 33-34% as against 35% of the previous year. So yes, there seems to be a shift, and that is the reason why Maruti Suzuki also, in response, have launched several new SUVs, the Fronx and the Jimny, which we are going to.
Don't you think that there should be a relook at the strategy for entry-level cars?
In what sense?
That probably, as far as production goes or dispatches to the dealerships go, if the demand is not there, then why waste money and, probably just meet the demand supply expectations?
So clearly, that's what I was saying, that we will, in any case, in the long run, in the short run, you can do these things of pushing some products, but generally, finally, in the long run, you have to match the market requirement and demand. And obviously, we cannot operate in independent in vacuum of the market. We have to follow the market, and yes, we are keenly watching the situation, and we'll modulate our production plans accordingly.
Sure, sir. Sir, has the dispatches of the Jimny began to dealerships, and is everything on track as the Jimny goes?
Yes, so yesterday we started the dispatch of the Jimny, and on the 7th we will be announcing the price and we'll start the sale of the Jimny.
And so there were reports that the Indian Army and Maruti Suzuki are in conversation for supplying the Jimny over replacing the Gypsy. How true is that, and what are the talks, sir?
Listen, we keep visiting all our customers. As you know, the army has been a very good customer for the Gypsy. You know that they have always looked at the Gypsy for their especially very tough environments that they operate in, and the Jimny seems to be an ideal replacement in that sense. However, we have to discuss with the customer as to what are the specs that they require and other terms. But yes, it's a great option for the army as well, I feel.
And so basically, right now the discussions are all over the specifications of the vehicle.
So we keep visiting our customers, as I said, and therefore we keep trying to evaluate what is their requirement and what we can do and how we can supply and so on.
Also, Shashank, how the commodity prices panning out? Are there any plans of increasing or decreasing prices? Because right now the commodity prices are fairly stable globally.
Yeah, so commodity prices have softened a little bit in the last few quarters, if you would have observed. Steel, though, went up and down. It hardened a few months back. Again, a talk of a little bit of softening there as well. But overall, Chetan, if you see the commodities remain at a very elevated levels compared with what they were 2 years back. And that's one of the prime reasons why all OEMs have been increasing prices in the last 1.5 years, including Maruti Suzuki. You know, for any auto OEM, material cost is about 75 to 77% of their cost structure. Therefore, movements in commodity prices obviously affects the overall cost structure and hence the profitability. So we are keenly watching the situation, and we haven't decided on either keeping the prices the same or increasing, etc. So we are just watching, and then we'll decide according to the more stable move.
Also, what about the waiting list, sir? How much is the waiting list currently? And I know that there is semiconductor shortage for which the production was affected. It was mentioned in the release as well. So what is the waiting period currently, and how do you plan to solve it, sir?
We have currently a backlog of about 365,000 bookings. Largely, they are in the Ertiga, XL6, Brezza, Frogs, Jimny, and so on. These are unfortunately also the models which have been affected by the semiconductor supply shortage. Last couple of years were affected across board, across all models, but now the problem is now related only to a few models. Yes, we did lose a production of almost 170,000 last year. In fact, Q3 of last year, we lost about 46,000 units. Q4, we lost about 38,000. We lost some numbers in April and May as well. So Q1 is going to be affected definitely, as I have mentioned earlier as well. Hopefully, going forward, Q2 onwards, we would see a much better situation, and therefore, we try to reduce the waiting periods for these models for our consumers.
Sure, sir. And so I would like to take your opinion on CNG. I was also speaking to Mahanagar Gas Limited, and they were saying that there's a lot of difference between a petrol, diesel, and a CNG as far as the cost economics go. So as Maruti Suzuki, you have products in the CNG segment as well. Are you also looking at expanding your reach in CNG vehicles, sir?
Absolutely. We have actually expanded the CNG portfolio. In fact, now 14 of our products out of 17 have CNG in the portfolio. In fact, this year so far, April, May put together, our penetration of CNG in Maruti Suzuki, the overall sales gone up to 26%. It was about 20% last year. So there's a fairly big jump. And May, for example, we did 40,000 vehicles, 40,000 plus vehicles CNG. So that's a pretty good number, I would say. And largely driven by the fact that the CNG prices came down a couple of months back. And now the gap between petrol and the diesel prices vis-a-vis CNG is pretty substantial. And therefore, the running cost of CNG, which is a big criteria for consumers in India, that is now favoring a jump in the CNG vehicles.
Last question, Shashank San. Recently Tata Motors came out with a CNG vehicle with twin cylinder beneath the tray of the boot. So, is Maruti also looking at such innovations to provide relief so that the entire boot space is given? I'm asking from a very customer centric point of view, sir.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are always looking at innovations which would help the consumers. And this seems to be a very good innovation. Yes, absolutely. And we will be closely looking at the feasibility of such a solution for our products as well.
Mr. Shashank, pleasure as always speaking to you. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you very much, Chetan.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.